Roger Chillingworth, one of the most complex and sinister characters in Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, plays a central role in the novel's narrative and thematic development. As Hester Prynne's estranged husband, who arrives in the new world only to discover her public shame and sin, Chillingworth becomes a representation of vengeance, manipulation, and moral decay. His transformation from a wronged husband to a figure of almost demonic obsession provides a dark counterpoint to Hester's path of penitence and redemption. Through his character, Hawthorne explores themes such as the corrosive effects of revenge, the dangers of hidden guilt, and the conflict between intellect and morality. Role in the narrative. In the narrative, Roger Chillingworth initially appears as a mysterious figure in the crowd observing Hester on the scaffold. He soon reveals his identity to her in secret and demands that she not disclose that he is her husband. This marks the beginning of his dual identity in the community, as the learned physician who befriends the ailing Reverend Arthur Dimmesdale, and as the secret pursuer of vengeance against the man who fathered Hester's child. Chillingworth's primary narrative function is to act as the antagonist, specifically to Dimmesdale, though he is also profoundly connected to Hester's fate. Once he suspects that Dimmesdale is Pearl's father, Chillingworth becomes obsessed with uncovering and tormenting the minister's hidden guilt. He manipulates his way into Dimmesdale's household under the guise of providing medical care, all the while psychologically probing and intensifying the minister's inner torment. Chillingworth's careful and calculated torment of Dimmesdale adds a layer of psychological horror to the novel, demonstrating how deeply human suffering can be compounded by secrecy and manipulation. As the story progresses, Chillingworth's obsession with revenge consumes him, transforming him into a grotesque figure. His outward appearance is described as becoming darker and more misshapen, mirroring the internal corruption of his soul. His role in the plot culminates in the final chapters, when Dimmesdale publicly confesses his sin, thus depriving Chillingworth of the power he held over him. With his purpose gone, Chillingworth withers and dies, emphasizing the self-destructive nature of his vengeful path. Symbolic significance. Symbolically, Roger Chillingworth represents the dark side of the human intellect divorced from compassion and empathy. He is a man of science and reason, yet his knowledge is used not for healing, but for destruction. In this way, Chillingworth becomes a symbol of cold rationalism taken to its most dangerous extreme. His actions suggest that when intellect is not guided by morality, it can lead to monstrous outcomes. Chillingworth is also a symbolic embodiment of revenge and its corrosive effects. His transformation in the novel illustrates how vengeance can consume a person's identity, turning them into something far worse than the original offense they sought to punish. Though Dimmesdale and Hester both suffer greatly, they ultimately seek repentance and forgiveness. In contrast, Chillingworth clings to his resentment, which isolates him and dehumanizes him. Furthermore, Chillingworth's role as a hidden tormentor aligns him with satanic imagery. Hawthorne often describes him using terms associated with the devil, emphasizing his role as a tempter and a source of moral corruption. In this light, Chillingworth becomes more than a wronged husband. He becomes an allegorical figure representing evil's ability to work through human motives under the guise of righteousness. Broader implications. The broader implications of Roger Chillingworth's character extend to Hawthorne's critique of the puritanical mindset and the human condition. In a society obsessed with public morality and visible transgression, Chillingworth's sins remain hidden, which allows him to act with impunity. This contrast between public shame and private evil is a central theme in The Scarlet Letter. Through Chillingworth, Hawthorne questions the effectiveness of a society that punishes visible sin while ignoring or failing to detect the insidious nature of hidden malice. Chillingworth also embodies the theme of isolation. While Hester is physically and socially isolated due to her scarlet letter, Chillingworth chooses isolation of the heart and mind. His refusal to forgive or move on emotionally stunts his humanity. In contrast to Hester's development into a strong, compassionate figure, Chillingworth's journey is one of spiritual decline. Another important implication is the way Chillingworth's pursuit of revenge contrasts with the Christian ideals of forgiveness and redemption. His unwillingness to relinquish his anger highlights a fundamental moral failing. He is not seeking justice, but rather domination over another soul. This presents a stark warning about the potential for vengeance to usurp one's entire being. Hawthorne may also be making a broader commentary on the role of science and knowledge in society through Chillingworth. As a man of learning, Chillingworth represents the Enlightenment ideal of human reason and intellectual mastery. However, without a guiding ethical framework, his knowledge becomes dangerous. This critique aligns with 19th century anxieties about the rise of scientific rationalism at the expense of spiritual values. Conclusion: Roger Chillingworth serves as one of the most chilling and psychologically nuanced characters in The Scarlet Letter. His transformation from a wronged husband to a vessel of vengeance illustrates the destructive power of unchecked emotion and the moral perils of prioritizing retribution over forgiveness. Through Chillingworth, Hawthorne crafts a powerful critique of puritanical justice, the dangers of hidden sin, and the dehumanizing effects of intellectual pride divorced from empathy.